Original.
Attention, you are about to hear the captivating voice of an icon in the movie industry. You have heard him and seen him in performances in over 140 films. He's met and influenced many world leaders, and now he's about to tell you how to unite the America he loves.
That job's filled.
Unique. Brilliant. And unpredictable. Robert Davi is a Renaissance man who writes, directs, sings, and does it all with excellence.
Yes, okay, we're all very impressed, but let's get on with it now.
Robert Davi believes he should use his voice to both repay and help unite America, the America that made his dreams come true.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Robert Davi Show.
My dear friends, good day. I hope you had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Mine was quite busy. I, of course, have a daughter who's going to be 15, so she wanted to go to Disneyland, and we went there yesterday, and that's quite exhausting. I mean, it's the happiest place on earth to spend a lot of money. But no, it's actually great. I had a great time. We had a wonderful time. It's really, you know, you wish the world could be like Disneyland. You know, I mean, you have all races, all colors, all creeds. You know, you have these the universe of. They have the new Star Wars. That's incredible. I mean, it's like I hadn't been there in years, because it's just, you know, it's. My kids go all the time, but I haven't been there in years. And were you able to hear me? Was I off the air? Good? Okay. Oh, this thing here. The wire looked like a spider's nest. So anyway, yeah, when you turn this wire, it's funny. It does funny things. So Disneyland was absolutely terrific. My 2-year-old, it's her first trip there, Gabriella, and she was ooh-eyeing the whole time. And like I said, the Star Wars exhibit, they got the whole city. I mean, but you could film it there. You could actually film an episode of some sci-fi thing. Jeremy, have you been there yet? Have you been to the Disneyland thing?
I haven't been there since Star Wars. I'd like to.
You haven't seen the Star Wars thing? They have new things, a new. I mean, there's a few different attractions that are just new and added to, and I was surprised to see the amount of people. You wouldn't think there was a pandemic. I'm just wondering how many COVID cases may come from. You know, I mean, you mask on the inside, but outside there's no mask mandate, and they're very particular about safety and everything else. But it just is a terrific. It was the kids had a wonderful time. I had the teenagers go off on their own, and then me, my wife, and the 2-year-old did, you know, the little teacups and Dumbo and the story, you know.
No rides? What
all
were the
those
lines
rides.
like?
What?
What were the lines like on Labor Day weekend?
The lines were, you know, intense. Of course, the lines were intense, but you know, luckily there was some. I had some luck in terms of lines.
That's right.
And so that makes it much more tolerable for me, because the waiting is just you know, I mean, and that brings me to to all of life, and to the election in California, actually, because I thought about it. You know, all right, because of me, and maybe. Whatever, some people can recognize me or not. So you're able to fast track on the line. And I'm just, you know, I'm who I am. I'm a blue collar guy, you know. And I got to admit, you know what? Hey, take advantage of any little edge I could get on those kind of things. And then I think about, you know, the upcoming recall election and in California, which I've been talking about. Now some of the media is picked up on that. I say, you know, California is the, in a way, flag in the sand. if we can do something about this California recall, if we can get Gavin Newsom and the Democratic Party's hold on California, if we can tighten its choke grip, it's worse than George Floyd, what the Democrats do to California, trust me. And, you know, we pray for George Floyd's soul. But what seems to me is that people, there are some people that are engaged, but most people are not engaged. Just this morning I was getting gasoline at a gas station, and I had mentioned the two different cars that were there. One was a postal employee, and one was just a pickup truck with two guys in it. And they go, "Hey, you guys, what are you thinking about the recall?" And I looked at, I says, "You see the gas?" I says, "Take a look at the gas prices." Why don't I shut this damn phone? Why does it, every time I get on the air, some pain in the ass calls me? It happens every single day at the same time. Anyway, so I look at the gas. I look over and I see the price of gas. And I say to them, "Hey, fellas, you see, let me tell you what's going to happen. Right now, gas is low in California because Gavin Newsom wants to be reelected. If he gets reelected, I wouldn't be surprised if gas jumps up to another $1. And not only that, the mileage, the gas mileage thing, they'll pass that. We're going to pay a percentage on what you drive, another form of tax, because that's the only way all this can survive. That's what's going to happen. And everything else is going to go up. So, the cluelessness and the inability to communicate in an astounding way. And you have John Cox, who's very smart, and you've got Larry Elder, very smart, competent people. And they're not breaking through, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a lack of forceful communication in terms of hitting the issues head on. I mean, and of course, you're fighting. What they're fighting is a war chest, the Democrat elite war chest. Starts by, and I'm giving just estimated figures based on Google net worth. But think of George Soros, worth about $9 to $10 billion at the head of he's the one that's the head of Gascon, and this other guy, Chesa Bodin. Now, both these guys are lefty communists, basically. Both of them are weak on criminal. I mean, think about that. Both these guys that George Soros support and the Democratic Party support. One guy, the Chesa Bodin guy, was raised by Bill Ayers and Bernadette Dorn. Now, they were head of the Weather Underground and the Students for Democrat Society in the 60s and 70s. And that group wanted to get a white fighting force and the Black Liberation Movement to get together to create a fighting force to bring down American imperialism and colonialism and create world communism. That's who these two lawmakers are in California. One in Los Angeles, a DA there, and one in San Francisco. Now, the San Francisco guy was raised because his parents were part of that, and they were arrested. And Bill Ayers and Bernadette brought him up. God bless them for that. But this is the seeds. This is the manure that these guys grew up in. Communist manure that are now infecting California throughout. And what you have is an immigrant population that has been ignited in terms of the hatred because they think the other, as they're demonizing white, even Barbie now. There's a YouTube video of Barbie and talking about white privilege to a black Barbie. And the continued attack on Joy Behar, for instance. Joy Bigot Behar, talking about that the Taliban is the same as the people that are anti-abortion. And I brought this up before, and no, they're not. I mean, that's so unconscionable how we talk about politics, how we denigrate people that believe in life. That's it, Joy. They're believing in life. And they're using that hot-button issue now and tying it into the recall, as Bette Midler is, and a lot of the left. Now, Bette Midler has a supposed net wealth of $250 million. Bezos. Well, let's not talk about Bezos because he's not relevant right now, but Reed Hastings, about $7 billion. Put $3 million into Gavin Newsom. George Soros, $9 billion. You know, you've got Jeffrey Katzenberg, about $900 million worth. He puts $500,000 into Gavin Newsom and to fighting Larry Elder, who's supposedly the black face of white supremacy. And then what do we have? We have, you know, Rob Reiner, worth about $60 million. And I can go on and on in terms of the elites that have been now, and I tweeted about this over the weekend, the elites that have now come on board to defend and to help campaign for Gavin Newsom, along with Kamala Harris. And you have Elizabeth Warren, who faked being an American Indian to gain privilege. And yet, we let her come to California, and you've got the other Gorbachev, or whatever the woman is, from Minnesota, another Minnesotan, I think, or Wisconsin, wherever she's from, God bless her. But she came. They're all coming out to campaign to the most extreme left wing of the California contingent, uneducated elite. You've got the uneducated and you've got the elite, the indoctrinated, uneducated, and the elite of California. And they've come out to appeal to them to kind of underbelly this election. I'm going to continue on this track for a little longer because it's crucial that you guys wake the hell up. Davi, back in a second. So let me run something by all of you. You know, there's a dietary supplement, an alkalizer concentrate that gives you 7 benefits. And it's called Balance 7. Yeah, Balance 7. And it'll give you take a shot of this stuff, you know, like a nice shot of a good Macallan scotch. It has that bite to it, and it goes down, but it gives you benefits that scotch won't give you. 7 pH concentrate for 7 benefits. You get more energy, mental clarity, relief from joint discomfort, boost your immunity, optimize pH balance, and help with weight loss while detoxing your body. Relieves heartburn, aids digestion. Now, I've tried this. My family's tried it, and it works. So go to balance7.com and use the code Robert Davi at checkout. You'll receive a free 4-ounce bottle of My Smooth Skin with any purchase of Balance 7 products. Again, head to balance7.com, use the code Robert Davi at checkout.
For the getaway of your dreams, come to Hawaii's Playground, Ka'anapali Beach Resort, on the fun side of Maui, where the world comes to play. Find your spot on Ka'anapali Beach with 3 miles of white sand, 12 resort properties, 2 golf courses, and 2 shopping centers. Enjoy the playground of Hawaii's ancient royalty. Ka'anapali Beach Resort is Hawaii's original master planned destination resort and home of the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival. With views of 2 neighboring islands, you can breathe in the land's natural beauty from your favorite resort or golf fairway. Come experience Ka'anapali's own special brand of Hawaiian hospitality with world-class dining, relaxing resorts, water sports, and activities of every kind. For romantic, family, and great friend getaways, discover the options of Ka'anapali Beach Resort, where the world comes to play. Plan your getaway today. Visit Ka'anapaliResort.com. That's KAANAPALI Resort.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
Robert Davi.
want you to know this is nothing personal. It's purely business.
So now what they do, and getting back to this California recall election, because it affects the whole nation, it really wraps around what's happening in the whole nation in terms of the elite of Hollywood, the elite of the media, the elite of the politicians, the commissars. I call them commissars because that's what they are. They're left-wing commissars. They're not politicians. They're not Congress or Senate. They're commissars because they're of a left Marxist progressive party that wants to overthrow America and eventually is going to destroy this country, make it like Venezuela. I believe that. I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. And people like Joy Behar are on that bandwagon. Let's look at her net wealth, Joy Behar. I'm going to Google that. I hadn't Googled her net wealth. I'd like to know what her net wealth is because Joy Behar is a big mouth, so as I am, and she has a right to have a big mouth. You know, she's also part Italian, $30 million. So she has a $30 million net worth. And look I'm not saying that anything is wrong with net wealth. God bless it. You know, people should, I think in America we should, that's what it's about, isn't it? But let's be honest here. If the Democratic Party was really, are they for the common man? Are they really for you? Do they have an understanding? Or do they use it to step on your backs? Because I know a hell of a lot of the GOP people treat people a lot better than Democrats do. Just from my own personal experience over my decades. I understand they're more communicative. And let's talk about this abortion thing for a second. You know, everyone talks about abortion. They use it as a button to call Christians the Taliban. Now, from what I understood, and I know it's a hot button issue, but that's why they use it to pull us apart. If someone believes in something, Joy, if someone believes in saving a life, why do you equate them with the Taliban? I don't understand that. That's a wall of bigotry, Joy Behar. How could you be such a bigot, Joy? It's astounding to me that she gets away with it, and she doesn't. You know, you don't find a real strong response against her big mouth and my big mouth. Okay, Republicans are Taliban in America, and abortion law is about hatred of women. Is the headline. So she tells her co-hosts on The View that the new abortion passed by the Republican majority, it's time to worry about the Taliban in America. Okay. So let's worry about the Taliban in America. Really. I don't see Christians beheading people. I don't see them stopping women from education or sports. As a matter of fact, they revere women. They respect women. So how can she unconscionably say that, again, this is again, they get emails, just like I get emails. I get emails from the right and from the left that give me talking points. I don't listen to them. I do my own talking points, what inspires me. So I know both sides play this game, this inflammatory game. And I'm telling you, it should be stopped. And people like Behar should be dragged out by her toes, by the audience. And the audience should demand her. There are no Christians in her audience that are booing. You just want to sit there as women, agreeing and nodding silently. You can agree with abortion or not, but you don't have to equate them with the Taliban in America. This has got to stop. Christians, the attack on Christians have to stop, Joy. All right? The inflammatory attack on Christians must stop. Damned be you. Damned be you, Joy Behar. Other people said last week the Supreme Court allowed the Texas law banning abortion after 6 weeks and allow citizens to snitch on anyone that gets an abortion. This makes no sense. It's a very hard Christian thing for me. If you believe in me as a Christian parent, then I will know what's best for my child. My child has been raped or molested. Allow me to take care of my child, my family. You know what? But that's not the case. They say that a child after the age of 13, I believe, or 14, doesn't have to tell the parents about an abortion. Now, I don't know about that aspect of it. Of course, there's aspects to it. There are absolute underlying conditions. We're not saying that. But what perplexes my mind about this issue is how can you justify 62 million and counting since Roe versus Wade? That's what perplexes me. How can that be continued to be equated with, it's okay? And we know that Margaret Sanger did it as a to get rid of the minorities, so their birth rates would be lower. And I understand that the snitching thing is kind of interesting, isn't it? I mean, that to me, where is the snitching thing coming from? I mean, that is a little nerve-wracking. But don't the Democrats do the same thing? Don't you think they're going to do the same thing on other issues? This is going to be, and what happens is the right, for some reason, why would they put in that? And I don't know if that's the case. Why would they put the snitching thing in there? To give them more ammunition to kind of denigrate an important issue like abortion. And there was a co-host, Sonny Houston, said, I'm personally against abortion. I think it's a sin. I think it's morally wrong. It's against my faith. But I agree with Whoopi in this case that I see this hypocrisy coming from Christian right, like myself, who say abortion is wrong and say it's about the sanctity of life, yet they so supportive of gun ownership. Now, here's this big argument. They're supportive of AR-15s. They're supportive of the death penalty. They're supportive of never-ending wars. Well, to equate that is morally corrupt. See, this is an ignorance. This is absolute ignorance. And to tolerate it is astounding to me. I don't understand how they can tolerate it. And they don't know how to fight back. The right doesn't know how to then parry this argument. Because, again, yeah, there are a lot of killings, not 60 million. There are a lot of gun violence is there, but it's not the gun that's causing the violence, it's the individual. And I'm all for background checks. I'm all for, protection. But yet we let people out on the street. The Democrats have let criminals out on the street. The Democrats have let illegal aliens into the country with coronavirus and whatnot and everything else. Drug cartels, the fentanyl pouring into the nation. The left is okay with that. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the drug deaths. We lost another actor, Michael Williams, to this all. They don't talk about any of this, do they? But they just want to continue to denigrate. There's certain, and the never-ending wars. Both parties do never-ending wars. If you didn't have wars, we wouldn't have saved Germany from being Nazi. Davi, back in a minute.
My name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-391-8713. 800-391-8713. That's 800-391-8713.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, Hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808. Tired of lockdown? Let the reconnect begin. You belong here. Welcome home to the magic of Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante in Fullerton, California. Check out our new spacious outdoor dining al fresco. Romantic, market lights. It looks like a movie set. Dine under the stars and enjoy our tasty Angelo's and Vinci's pizza, pasta, seafood, chicken, salad dinners, and more. In the cool of the evening, come enjoy our award-winning menu, new wine list, specialty cocktails like our Peach Bellini Martini, appetizers, and more. Angelo's and Vinci's now open every day from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. for relaxing outdoor dining. No reservations needed. Just come on in for delicious Italian food. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante, 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton. Call 714-879-4022. We're going to need a lot of pasta to get through this year. Come to Angelo's and Vinci's at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton today.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
All right, is that a Q2 or a Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA.
Nah.
To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Robert Davi Show.
This is authentic. Una furtiva lacrima negli occhi.
So anyway, and you know, it's easy to use the of course there are the vaccine things and the mask mandates and they say they don't care about when the kid is born, they drop you like a bat. So it's not, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, it's a philosophical discussion here that's been going on for, I think, decades, centuries, not decades. And, you know, and again, when does life begin? That's been going on since the Stoics believed that the fetus was plant-like and not an animal until the moment of birth, when it finally breathed in air. And some people believe that. Some people have that philosophy. So therefore, abortion is morally acceptable. That's Stoics. Aristotle said that that the line between lawful and unlawful abortion will be marked by the fact of having sensation and being alive. And before that point was reached, he did not regard abortion as the killing of something human. He considered the embryo to gain a human soul at 40 days if male and 90 days if female. And before that, it had vegetable and animal souls. That's Aristotle. Now, think about it. He says now, 40 days if a male, so that's a month, right? That's 5 weeks. And 90 days, 3 months, is, female. That's 3 months. I wonder why. Why does a female get a soul later than a man in Aristotle's mind? Isn't it interesting? And there was another medical writer, Hippocrates. He talks about Hippocrates, this Roman guy, laid the foundation for a discipline by an oath, which prescribed not to give a pregnant woman a kind of medicine that expels the embryo or fetus. Other medical scholars disagree, believing Hippocrates sought to discourage physicians from tying dangerous methods to abort a fetus. And then we have punishment for abortion in the Roman Republic was generally inflicted as a violation of the father's right to dispose of his offspring. Okay, so now we're having a patriarchic discussion, and it goes on and on and on. And in Christianity, it describes in Exodus 2 men fighting, in which one of the men's pregnant wife is struck, which resulted in a miscarriage. If she dies, the perpetrator forfeits his life according to the law, a life for a life. And God does not regard the fetus as a soul. So, the Old Testament does not regard the fetus to be a soul. This is in the Old. If she had been unfaithful, the abdomen will swell and the womb will miscarry and she will become a curse. The early Christian: do not murder a child by abortion or kill a newborn infant. Abortion should be performed only in cases in which abnormal positioning of the fetus in the womb would endanger the life of a pregnant woman. St. Augustine makes a passing mention of surgical procedures being performed to remove fetuses which have died in utero. St. Augustine believed that abortion of a fetus with human limbs and shape was murder. However, his beliefs on earlier stage abortion were similar to Aristotle's, though he could neither deny nor affirm whether such partially formed fetuses would be resurrected as full people at the time of the second coming. So, and it goes on and on and on, of course, about this issue that we're still discussing and having tremendous differences over today, even in terms of the soul of the fetus. And to some people, it's a small gob of living tissue from a human body. Cutting it out. And all tissue, including the fetal tissue, is made up of living cells composed of same chemicals. Yet, fetal tissue is unique. Of all the tissues in the body, it alone has a fixed genetic makeup, different from that of the body in which it is lodged. So a woman cannot say of fetal tissue, this is mine, in the sense she can say that of her kidney tissue, this is mine. She cannot keep it any more than she can give it to someone else. She must surrender it in birth or die. This is now on the relation to the soul of a fetus. I've been researching some of this to get a better understanding, and the deeper you get into it, it gets more interesting. We can hardly say the physical fact of the genetic uniqueness of human fetal tissue is the basis of all the anxious inquiry, for the same uniqueness prevails in the animal world. Rather, the issue is that human fetal tissue, left unmolested, will develop into a human being. And there is something about a human being. There's something about a human being. And therein lies the biggest conflict. And again, if I don't have these new earphones, I must politely earphones that fit me and don't keep falling out. I've got so much I have to do anyway. I've got so much work I have to do. I have a new film that I'm preparing, and another thing, and a book, and everything else. And this is so costing me. It's so costing me emotionally to come on here and discuss these subjects, because I don't want to just throw sound bites and be sensational. I want to be able to make a change, to be able to open your soul and your mind and your spirit up. And the nature of these kind of things make you just want to pound away at the opposition. So, at the bottom line, that's the thing. The bottom line is that this tissue left unmolested will develop into your child, into you, into a son, into a daughter. And it's the old argument of how many great people could have been aborted or were thinking about abortion and weren't, and how many difficulties there are. Yes, society has a responsibility to the unborn, as they do to those that are born. But the difficulty is the left. The left is a hypocritical group of people. As they acquire their own wealth and they feel guilty and they hot button these issues for the left, for the Pelosi contingency and the AOC, all these beautiful women that probably during the Renaissance or prior would have been burned at the stake. Thank God we don't do that anymore. You know? Thank God we don't do that anymore. But along with this discrepancy, well, we're going to finish that when we come back. Because it's a textured conversation. It's not something that you can answer in an afternoon. If Aristotle had difficulty with it and St. Augustine had difficulty with it, and theologians have difficulty, but what you cannot do is what certain pigs on the left do. You cannot equate Christians with the Taliban. That is a piggish thing, and it should not be tolerated. And you can have this other discussion, but not that. I'll be back in a minute.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Columbo's, since 1954, has been serving up fine dining in a relaxing atmosphere and all at an affordable price. Columbo's is still doing something right. It's why so many travel from the West Side and the Valleys to experience and enjoy what Eagle Rock is known for years. Columbo's is truly something special. Columbo's serves up some of the most succulent, delicious steaks, as well as outstanding seafood offerings in all of Southern California. And the Columbo family's Italian specialties are worth the trip from anywhere. Columbo's is a memory maker. Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock, 323-254-9138. 323-254-9138. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, serving up fine dining and a relaxing atmosphere and all at an affordable price. Columbo's, of course.
Now it's time for MedVed's Entertainment Minute.
Marvel Studios is back with a new comic book hero inserted into a post-Avengers Endgame world, trying to connect with his magical, mystical, long-lost father, a martial arts master played by Tony Leung, in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, now playing in theaters everywhere.
The 10 rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
But this goofy and confusing plotline isn't nearly strong enough to carry this more than 2-hour running time. The special effects and flying dragons and balletic battle scenes are all elegant and occasionally impressive, but become tedious long before the film bangs and wheezes to its get ready for the sequel conclusion. It's rated PG-13 for plenty of comic book violence. 2 stars for Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
The Robert Davi Show.
Mike? You let me down, Mike. You're making me look bad. Thought we had an understanding. And all I expect is a little cooperation!
Sorry, Robert.
So, my dear friends, the abortion issue for centuries, or thousands of years, has been talked about. Even ancient Egypt. There was abortions during ancient Egypt. They didn't go back that far, but it was. So I have a solution that may not be very popular, because I'm tired of this argument. I am. I'm really tired of the argument, because what it does is it inflames women, and it gives the left an excuse to blind them, because some of them are one issue. So what I'm saying this is, if and what they've done is they've made Larry Elder and John Cox, any conservative that would be voted into California, is women would lose their right to abortion. So we've got to take that argument off the table. We have to, as politicians, or as, if I was running for office, here's what I would say. I'd say, dear friends, I am Catholic. I understand most religions. I've studied many religions, from Zen Buddhism to Yogananda, self-realization, to transcendental meditation, to Judaism, to Kabbalah, to Hinduism, Muslim. I've comparative religions. I've dabbled in it. I'm not an expert in any of them, but I dabble in all of them. So what I say to you there, my dear friends, I'm running for office. I'm going to say this to the women out there. You can have your abortion. If you want your abortion, you should have it. It's plain and simple. I don't know why conservative Christians have to fight against abortion. What they should be saying is to their children, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. That's what they should be saying. If one side wants to continue to have abortions and to stop life, let them. But I say to Christians, focus on be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. And let the left have what it wants. Let the left in America have abortion. Let that be their legacy. But if you teach your children, and this is not barring extenuating circumstances and sensitivity toward women. It has the utmost respect and sensitivity toward women. So if they want the choice, and the left uses this as a wedge to extract votes, and as Bette Midler says, no more sex until abortion is legalized, then so be it. Let it be legalized, I say. Let abortion go through. We should not stop it any longer. But we should train or teach our children in our homes the consequences of abortion, morally, your feelings of it, and let it lay where it lays. Because if you believe in it being, and as I said, the greatest philosophers were having difficulty on what it was and how to frame it, and when and where and if, I believe it's human life. I believe there are so many different alternative ways of being able to protect a woman and a man from having a pregnancy, and being able to interdict a pregnancy before abortion. But barring all of that, forget all of that. The political football that is used is so stupid. It is so dumb. We've got so many bigger issues, and they use that as a wedge, because what they do, what the left does, as they have been, and it's been attacked like crazy by all the Hollywood elite, let them have their abortions. God bless them. Pray for the souls of the babies. But Christian families, or people that don't agree with abortion, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. It's as simple as that. That's your choice. No longer this political football that the left and conservatives and the right, back and forth, acquiesce that point and teach life. You can acquiesce a political point, okay? Because if you believe that, then it's between you and God. Let them deal with it. Whether they're Wiccans, whether they're atheists, let them deal with it. Let them have the burden of this fight. And pray, and have your children be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. I mean, it's as simple as that to me, because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this being used to stop real political conversation. The same issue over and over and over and over again being positioned now, when we have a guy that wants to do an infrastructure bill who wants to stop all kinds of, to me it makes no sense. Okay? So now we have an infrastructure bill. Let's talk about that for a second. I don't understand this. Okay. If China is burning coal, if China, and I told you, Gavin Newsom made a $1.3 billion deal with BVD, a company to build masks that doesn't build protective wear, but builds lithium batteries and electric cars. And Joey Biden, his son, got $1 billion deal from China, and now they're pushing the electric vehicle thing, which, well, how are we going to sustain that grid? And today on CNN, I turned it on because I like listening to all the networks, and I caught the tail end of a conversation about we've got to go electric immediately because of the climate crisis. Obviously, there is some crisis going on. There is some kind of climate thing going on. I see it. But you see, instead of fighting the fires in California and the water shortage in California could have been prevented. Did you know that? But yet they're not talking about it strongly enough because the elite, like I told you, this Reed Hastings gave $3 million, who's worth $6 billion, $8 billion. The other guy, Soros, who infects his will, this guy that betrayed his own people during Nazi Germany, this guy that people let him get away with all this criminal behavior, which I think is criminal behavior toward the United States, because he's a money pit. See, here's what I believe. Who was Hillary Clinton in bed with? Harvey Weinstein. The left was in bed with Harvey Weinstein for how long? They looked the other way, didn't they? They knew what Harvey Weinstein was doing, but they looked the other way because he was filling their coffers. That's what George Soros is doing. And we're looking the other way. And we're talking about abortion. And the GOP isn't investigating George Soros' influence and putting in people like Gascon and Bodine and other people across America that are decimating our criminal justice system. Do you know $45 billion? Listen to this one. $45 billion. Say it again. $45 billion. CVS, Ulta, and other companies. There's a criminal gang that goes into these stores because of the policies of Gavin Newsom. I'm telling you, but no one will talk about it strong enough. Because of the policies of Gavin Newsom and Chesson Bedon and Nancy Pelosi and the left in America, there is a criminal gang going into stores, taking $45 billion worth of product, and then selling it online on Amazon and other ways. Because we're letting people go in and steal $1,000 worth of stuff. The left in America is a corrupt organization. It's a corrupt organization. So is the right. And what they said today on CNN is they dangle a carrot of a lot of good new union jobs are going to come about. A lot of good union jobs. Now, Ronald Reagan understood what the union meant and what they did and how they manipulated and how the teachers union and all these other unions get together and they give their money to Democrats because the Democrats are corrupt. They're a mafia. The individual is dead in America. The individual has been decimated in America. The individual is being masked in America. The individual is being castrated in America. America started with individual strength, and we've lost it now. We've got a bunch of lawyers and a bunch of equivocators and a bunch of weaklings running our nation. And that's in every single part of politics, from local. So what are we going to do? As the Chinese say, no more effeminate men on television or in the media. America is screaming. Yeah, we're screaming. All the freedoms you happy and the progress we're making. We're making such wonderful progress, aren't we? I look around the faces of people. It's sad. People are either drugged or eating to death. Yes, I saw in Disneyland a lot of obese people. A lot of obese people. What's happening to this nation? Yeah, we're being softened for the kill, my dear friends. That's all I got to say. And Joy Behar and the rest of those views, they're misrepresenting themselves to you and to America. Good night. Good day. God bless.
Are you tired of your favorite talk shows?